Oh, I am so excited for watching these two players duke it out. It is a battle of the old guard, one might say. Bottom left-hand corner from Shopify Rebellion, it is Byun. Is it 2016? Because in the bottom right, going for an early pull from the Kwangdong Freaks, it is SOO. Oh, let's see how this goes. Now, of course, this early pool, I believe this was a 14 pool, can just be defensive. In case, for instance, there is going to be something like an early barracks proxy from the Protoss, or from the Protoss. Where's the Protoss in this match, huh? Did Nightmare suddenly sneak his way onto Blackburn? Is he in the 12 o'clock position? We just see the Protoss Nexus go down. Anyway, but in case there's an early proxy, of course, from the Terran, you can get out those 4 lings. It's really, yeah. It's a safety build. You're not going to go into a massive speedling run by or attack off of with this with this opener. It really is defensive for SOO. So he has 4 lings out. He's going to get up his natural hatchery. He's gonna get up his hatchery at a decent time. As factory on the way here for Byun, so it's just going to be a standard build. No 3 racks on Blackburn. Does make sense. It's a lot harder to make the 3 racks work on this map with the speed inhibitor zones. As we're going to see what the choice is here for these players. And it's an interesting matchup, because obviously we did just see Armani get absolutely smacked by Byun. And that's a situation where I think Armani wasn't playing up to Armani standards, and Byun was playing out of his mind. Now, as for SOO, what we saw against Nightmare was, in a macro game, SOO looked utterly dominant. In the 2 macro games that they played, SOO smacked Nightmare like it was no one's business. It was a smack, smack, double hand, actually. He went front back. However, when it came down to handling aggression, that was where we saw SOO start to falter. But of course, that was ZVP. This is ZVT. And I don't know how that, the differences in SOO's level of play in these matchups. Obviously, there's the chance that SOO's ZVT looks a lot better. And I think actually when SOO originally came back, he played in a weekly and managed to get a best of 5 series win over Byun, if I'm not wrong, when he originally actually returned. But we'll see, as Byun is once again just going to go into the armory. And I don't know about you guys, but I have a feeling that Byun might be hiding his build orders, because every game has either been a 3 racks or it's been this Hellbat opening. And Byun actually has a very, very interesting kind of pattern, where when he's preparing for a tournament like GSL, when he's hiding his builds, he will just do very standard openers, and he will do them on repeat. So this is going to be the same opening as we saw in Game 3 versus Armani. It's going to be the Hellbats. It's going to be Cloaked Banshee. This is a pretty standard timing attack that you can do. Any Terran can really do. As what are we seeing? Oh, SOO, where are your units? 3 queens in production here. So we will have up to 8 queens, which is of course going to be enough to hold it. So yeah. Byun really not going to commit on it. Is going to send 4 Hellions though up into this main base, as SOO is looking for a run by. And that is an open wall, so we're going to start to see the pull here on these SCVs. The natural has to be evacuated, as queens are going to be brought up to deal with this Hellbat drop here in the main. Byun was trying to ferry on up his units. Should be able to save at least, just 1. Oh my god, the Ling's actually getting a ton of damage. Byun didn't bring his units over. 5 SCVs are going to go down. The drop in the main is going to be cleaned up. And so far, a pretty clean hold there from SOO. Of course, it looked a bit sketchy had Byun committed to the frontal engagement, but Byun did not know that. And so, I think ends up wasting a little bit too much time. SOO really skips a ton of corners here. 8 queens and 7 zerglings is a very, very low amount. And so SOO really kind of balancing that on a knife's edge with how much he actually wanted to produce to defend that. And it worked out very, very well, but now we're also going to have to worry about that follow-up. You have Cloaked Banshees. You're going to have more Marines, more Hellions, and again, it's going to be this attack with the Hellbats. Now, the Baneling Nest is only halfway done, so it's just going to be the Zerglings. Right now, the Queen count sitting at 8. I think you'd like it to be a little bit higher. As here we go, Byun is going to find his way on in. SOO, what's the response going to be? Well, you have Zerglings here, but that's about it. There's no Spine Crawler. Queen's being brought on over. More Zerglings going to stream on through, and actually there's a great surround here for SOO, who might have just found a cleanup when it felt like he wasn't going to be able to. Just Lings, and it doesn't matter. 3 drones are going to fall. 5 go down, but you clean up the entire army of Byun. 12 Hellions go down. Banshees are going to be knocking down at that gold base, but I think SOO does not have an Overseer, actually. He's going to finally morph one in. SOO, he really likes, waiting as long as possible to morph in those Overseers. I don't think there is Cloak with this, though. Yeah, so no Cloak with the Banshee anyway. That's +1/+1 coming through here for Byun, is working on Stim Pack, as well as going to have the follow-up of this 1/1 Stim Bio attack. As it's going to be Mutalisks for SOO. Spire on the way. More Lings in production, Centrifugal Hooks as well. No Spore Crawler here in the natural means that this Banshee's going to be able to find a few more kills. Of course, SOO is sitting pretty healthily right now at 72 workers. 4 go down. In total, 9 drones lost. Is not that bad for completely mitigating all of the pressure in the early game from the Terran. But look at that. That is a lot of barracks. We're going to be... Is this... Yeah, this is going to be an 8 racks off 3 base here from Byun. This is pretty interesting. So, the deal is, with 8 racks, you really do not have the money to put down a 4th base. You are going to be fully into this 1/1 bio, moving across the map with tanks and trying to kill your opponent. But 14 Mutalisks are on the way here for SOO. Continued Ling production. Centrifugal Hooks is almost done. And SOO, he's going to be able to scout this initial push here with the creep. That's what he's going to see. He's not going to see, though, what is happening behind it. As SOO does just evacuate the gold, doesn't actually even want to risk trying to hold that mineral line just yet until he has enough. But he doesn't see the additional barracks behind this. Now, Byun, if this army gets cleaned up preemptively, is actually going to be in a really bad spot. And the Mutas are here. And so if you lose these tanks, if you lose this position, that's going to start to look really bad. As here we go, the commit on in. The tanks are going to get sniped by the Mutalisks. The Lings are getting mostly cleaned up, but they're going to be brought on over the rest of them. And that's just going to be GG. Byun realizes it. He lost too much too early. And we're already going to be seeing SOO here. Up 1-0. Let me fix that scoreboard there. With just some really solid macro builds. In that last game, I think Byun got a little bit too antsy with that tank push. And obviously the reason why you GG out there is you're going for 8 racks. You're going to have Marine follow-ups. But if you lose the tanks, if you lose that medevac as well, you don't really have anything left. It's just going to be Marines, and that's not going to be enough to suddenly stop SOO, who's going to be on 5 bases with a macro hatch. And so Byun GG's out. He realizes that he messed up, and that build is very, very reliant on not messing up. So SOO gets game 1. He has managed to force Byun to drop a match versus Zerg here so far in this Super Series, the first one that he has dropped. And man, this just makes me more and more excited for that GSL group next Thursday. Zest, Byun, Bunny, and SOO. It should be a really, really good matchup, as this Overlord should be able to make its way to that pillar with no issues. Again, it was the early pool here from SOO, is actually preferring the early pool and the later hatchery, which is very, very interesting. And again, of course, it is just for safety. It's a safer opening from the Zerg. Ooh, is this a 2-1-1? That looks like a 2-1-1 to me. The barracks is going to be flown over in order to get rid of this Overlord, but then it should be landed and the reactor put on it. I'm going to love it. Byun Has not. Oh, he leaves, leaves the door open though. No factory for you, Byun. SOO manages to sneak in 2 lings here, and that's actually a really big scout. I believe SOO. Oh, has he seen? He did. SOO has actually seen the fact that there is a second barracks here, so does know the fact that this is a 2-on-1. Does know that what's going to be on the docket here for the Terran, which is a massive scout to get in. Ooh, Byun just immediately puts down a 3rd command center. Doesn't even. Cancels the barracks. Puts down a 3rd command center. That's really. That's an interesting response from Byun. I didn't know. I guess, yeah, it getting scouted is that bad for Byun that he doesn't want to commit to the 2-on-1 because he knows that it's just going to be defended. So instead says, listen, I'll just build a command center. I'll cancel it. I'm not going to have a lot of units out. That actually might mean that his natural base is going to be forfeit here. You really do not have a lot to stop this ling swell from SOO, who is just all over this TVZ right now. And the Hellions, of course, are going to be annoying for these lings to deal with. SOO probably should just try and get them out, but is continuing to find worker kills. Ooh, tries to find a Stroud, but yeah. Just going to escape with the lings. Finds 6 worker kills and gets on out. And mind you, this is against a Byun who has scrapped his opening build and is opting for now a fast 3rd command center. Of course, this does mean that Byun will have increased worker production once that 3rd command center finishes. But SOO has free reign to do whatever he wants until then. And I mean whatever he wants. As long as he has enough lings to defend the Hellions. And, you know, about, what? Yeah, 6 queens maybe? Byun is not going to be able to really exert any pressure onto the Zerg, as it's going to be immediately into a double engineering bay here from Byun. An interesting opening so far. Interesting opening. And I say interesting because, of course, Byun has kind of just been completely mixing and matching his build order right now in order to try and fit the circumstance, which is never a situation that you really want to be in, but it does mean that he's going to have a very early 1-1. And so Byun, I think, is going to be preparing for this 3 base. I imagine potentially 8 racks again. He's playing completely safe right now with his Hellions and Marines. He's producing 3 workers at a time. 2 more barracks being added on, so he's going to go up to 3, maybe 5 racks? It might be 5 racks pressure with the 1-1 and the Widow Mines very, very early is potentially an option here for Byun. And I gotta say, I love the flexibility that Byun is showing right now, where he's had to scrap his build and kind of completely rebuild it now from the ground up into something that he can work with. And we're gonna see 3 barracks are done. Starport is being added on, of course, so you will have those medevacs by the time these upgrades finish. Byun is gonna float out that 3rd base, so it will be a timing attack with 3 bases behind it. Should see a 4th and a 5th barracks added on at the very least. We're going to see 5 racks. If Byun wants to go all in, we will most likely see 8 racks if he wants to apply a lot of pressure on these 3 bases. Of course, you will still saturate your 3rd and your natural. It's an armory. Yeah, I think this is going to be an 8 racks play. Because you're going to have the armory. Byun is going to head into 2-2 as soon as that 1-1 finishes. He's going to apply pressure with a double drop across the map with the 1-1. And then, yeah, he's going to be going into the 8 racks play, I imagine, off of this. This is going to be really interesting to see how Byun handles it. Now that he's already kind of failed it in one game, he's going to be continuing to head into it in this next. Now, on the other side, SOO is going to be quite delayed with these upgrades. And of course, when you're playing Ling Bane against Bio, being behind in upgrades is not necessarily the situation we want to be in. It's very, very nice stapes there from Byun. Actually, I think, did he? Yeah, use his own Hellions to snipe the creep tumors, which is just gorgeous. A really nice trick there from Byun. Let's see if that 2-2 starts up, or if it is just going to be the 5 racks. Yeah, there we go. +2. +2. Oh, Byun, this is going to be gorgeous to see how this plays out. Medevacs is going to join on up. He's actually moving all the Marines out right now, so he's going to be going for a preemptive push beforehand, even with just the 5 racks. Banelings are here. Centrifugal hooks will be finishing up. Again, though, that upgrade difference, 1-1 over your opponent when you're playing Bio versus Ling Bane is always a great position to be in. As SOO just looking for the surround is not quite going to be able to get it. Byun using that terrain very, very nicely to his advantage, pulling the Marines into a convex shape to stop the surface area from the Zerg. Hellions are going to be brought over. They will be morphed into those Hellbats. SOO does need a few more Banelings here in order to help defend. Hydro's Den is on the way, and I love this. SOO finding a run by. SOO plays this matchup so well. Is actually going to have to back up. I mean, I don't think there are enough Marines there to actually get rid of all those Zerglings if they took the straight up fight. But SOO's just going to, you know, pull those Zerglings over, set up some Banelings, prepare a Baneling run by, and have that counterattack option ready for when Byun next pushes in. As here we go, and it's not going to be the 8 racks. So it's not going to be the 8 racks again. Instead, it's going to be the 4th base. It's just going to be 5 racks with a second factory behind it. So it's a bit less all in than I was thinking Byun might go for initially. Is Banelings trying to find their way on in, and Banelings at the front as well, going to chase down this bio. Finding some great connections so far. Byun. There we go. Finds the stutter step, finds the focus fire, but 8 SCVs go down at the 3rd. And right now, SOO is working on a 5th base. As Drilling Claws, 3 Widow Mines at a time able to be built here for Byun, who's working on finished that 4th base. And now the 2-2 will be done, which means that this army is going to get even stronger. Ooh, nice. Does manage to kill off those 3 supply depots and 3 SCVs. It's pretty worthwhile there for SOO with that counterattack. As Byun has 2-2 now. Again, he's just working with the 5 racks, but that is enough right now since he is getting the 4th base. 8 Marines at a time. No Marauders being added on, I think is interesting. Because, of course, in the last game, in its series, especially against Armani, the Marauders were very useful for absorbing damage from the Banelings. As Byun is just going to try and find some creep cleanup here. Of course, the 2-2 Marines, they just trade so well. It is... Ew. And 3-3 on the way already for Byun. He's just prioritizing these upgrades, and that is... Yeah, this is absolutely worthwhile right now for Byun. I mean, the upgrade difference is going to cause a massive issue for SOO the longer this game goes, especially when it gets into 2-2 Ling Bane versus 3-3 Bio. Infestation Pit is here, though. Hive on the way. Drop is going to come through at the 4th base. I mean, SOO right now, though, he's at 86 workers. He's actually working on a 6th base of his own. Queens are being brought over. That's just going to be the medevac sniped. Where's the rest of the units? Okay, 2 Banelings are going to make their way on in. They'll be able to clean that on up. Is at the front? SOO, he's going to get caught out. And SOO right now is sitting down 20 supply. Has to be careful right now. He's working with pure Ling Bane. Only 5 Hydras. That Lurker Den is not even here yet. And that can start to become a massive issue here for SOO. Ooh. Surround is good. SOO just looking to try and... what is this stutter step Byun? That's gross. Disgusting, as this double drop is going to try and find its way on in. Oh, Banelings are here. SOO trying to wait as long as possible. Has a Hydras as well to help clean it up. Bringing in more Hydras as well. Ooh, Byun, you got to be careful. Byun is not quite going to lose that medevac. But SOO finding some good engagements here. Mind you, SOO is sitting at 6 bases. 6 bases of larva production. What is the switch, though? It's just going to be Ling Bane Hydra, and this is what some Zergs have been doing. You just go Ling Bane Hydra, you wait for your opponent to transition into Ghosts, and you don't even get into your Lurkers as, Widowmine Dragons have to be good, but they are not. Those Widowmine connections are massive, but the wall is going to be blown open. Banelings are going to find their way in. SOO, you have to be careful not to overcommit, though. Banelings going to roll into the bio. They're actually going to find some pretty good connections here right off the bat. Oh, Byun took a bit too much damage there. He lost 20 SCVs. And sure, he's finding damage back on the other side, but the drone pull was good. Zergling's going to be brought in. More SCVs going down. And SOO found a great fight there. Byun didn't pull back his Marines far enough. And the Banelings found the connections they needed. Suddenly, SOO is in a great position in this game. Has +3 Carapace on the way. That is, I believe, the only +3 upgrade that he has. Of course, Byun will have his +3 bio. I mean, I think he might just have to use that. I don't know if there's really going to be an option for Byun to macro back into this game. He has 4 CCs. He has a 5th on the way, so he has plenty of mules, of course, and that can potentially get him back into this game. The issue is SOO might just go for round 2. SOO knows, hey, I'm at 89 workers. I'm at 6 bases. Oh, very, very good. Now he's going to start to pull off a few lings here. Oh, has to be careful. Those Widowmine hits aren't actually that good. And again, the Banelings are just going to roll on through. Byun not pulling back his units until it's a little bit late, but the Baneling connections aren't exactly what you'd like. Byun does find a good fight there, but more Banelings being morphed in. The Hydras here, a single Marauder being peeled off to try and soak up this damage. Widowmine gets cleaned up. It's just Marines and Marauders left over, and they're going to fall, as I think SOO has just enough to break this position. Byun, I mean, rallying out units to try and hold, but Zerglings are here. SOO is just rallying across the map. He's going to find more SCV kills, and that's going to be it. GG! SOO is going to go up 2-0 against a Byun. I don't know if SOO really necessarily has a title. There are a lot of players that do them. You know, you have the Finnish Phenom. You have other things such as that. But even without that being said, SOO, again, going for this 14 pool, looking like he is... This is the opening that he's most comfortable with, and honestly, I don't blame him. With how good he has looked in this TVZ, I'm not going to question the opening. I'm not going to say, SOO, why are you doing this opening? It's not the most economically efficient. Doesn't seem like that matters to him. As we are on to Berlingrad, and mind you, this is the map where, again, Byun did use that Hellbat opening. And so it's going to be interesting to see if Byun does just roll that back. And again, as I've said, both these players, they are playing each other on Thursday. Next Thursday in GSL, there's definitely a chance, a pretty good chance, that they will play each other. And so, what do you want to show to your opponent is the real question. And so far, SOO has been doing the same opening every game. And it's still been working out fine. He's been doing different transitions, though. He's been sometimes doing Roach. He's been sometimes doing Lingbane Hydra, sometimes Muta. Meanwhile, for Byun, it's mostly been... it's really mostly been either the Hellbat opening with the timing attack, or that 3 racks that Byun used once. And of course, the 3 racks is risky. When you're down 2-0, you don't really want to do a 3 racks. It is... It's an opening that if your opponent scouts it and they manage to counter it, you can just lose the game. Ooh, Byun, very nice snipe there on the first creep tumor. Good amount of value there from that Reaper. But we're gonna see, I believe this, it's an early 3rd CC from Byun. He's gonna be going straight up into the macro game. Byun is saying, listen, I'm gonna just try and be greedy. I'm gonna say, listen, I'm going macro. And he's going to see if he can win the game there. And I think, obviously, Byun does have a good right to be confident in his macro play. But then again, you look at that last game. You look at Glittering Ashes. And SOO was able to get the win there in what looked like a pretty even game. And so it really is all of the onus right now is on Byun. Is saying, listen, what is your plan? How are you going to approach this game differently? And how are you going to make it work? Hellions in production. Single Viking as well here from Byun. As the Reaper does get a full scout, so sees no additional tech for SOO. Nothing cheesy. As the 3rd base on the way for the Zerg player. And Stim immediately going to be started up. So both players... going to be very much kind of catapulting their game here into the mid to late game. As Byun is just going to look around, scout around. I mean, obviously you'd like to deny some creep tumors with those Hellions, but the Queen's doing a good job of pushing them away, of managing to zone them out. Again, the Queen there, pushing out a little bit. Will probably then plant the creep tumor afterwards. And I gotta say, SOO has been playing really, really solid in this ZVT. The way that he's been posturing Queens in the early game and using them for defense, has been extremely solid. And I think SOO, obviously SOO, is a veteran. He knows how many corners he can cut. And that's what we saw in game 1 on Blackburn, where he had his 8 Queens against that Hellbat time attack, and that's all he produced. He didn't go into any more. And even when Byun went for this massive Hellion run by with 8 to 10 Hellions still. Only just made enough links to defend it and handled the body blocking as well as he could. And I think that's how SOO has been able to get into these great macro positions, whereas Armani was overproducing lings in order to defend a push. You know, it just felt like Armani had, I think, too few queens to defend. Meanwhile, SOO is really knowing how much he needs to properly handle these situations, and it's really showing in how well he's able to mitigate the early game of Byun and then bring that into a comfortable mid game for him, as that's going to be 4 barracks on the way. So we're heading into 5 racks off of 2 bases. Byun gonna be able to find his way into the mineral line here. SOO a little bit out of position. A nice block there on the Zerglings. A few Hellions are gonna go down, but most of them should be able to make their way out. You get 6 drones, you get on out. Very, very nice there for Byun. And that was just the creep not actually being pushed far enough there onto the ramp for SOO. So didn't see those Hellions until they were going towards that mineral line. Zergling's going to get cleaned up, and so far it's been a pretty even game for both these players. Byun has been doing a good job with the harassment, has knocked down 3 creep tumors, but even with that, look at this creep spread from SOO. Pretty disgustingly good. Of course, it is going to get cleaned up here by the Hellions, but SOO is still pushing it in other places while this is happening. And should be able to replant it there. I mean, the queen count very, very healthy right now, sitting at 9. Nice catch here on a few of the Hellions. SOO just backs on off. Armory on the way, the 1-1 again for Byun. Very, very quick. Is going to be prioritizing those upgrades so that his bio can trade as well as possible. And in this game, honestly, I would like to see Byun take advantage of that, because in the last game, he had the 2-2 versus 1-1 differential in the upgrades and still didn't do much with it. Was still playing very passive. And I don't know if Byun really realized that. He's going to be able to snipe an Overlord here with the Marines, but the double drop is scouted, so SOO now knows that that is an option here for Byun on the right side of the map. Centrifugal hooks will be finishing up, and we are seeing pneumaticized Carapace, so we're actually going to get Overlord speed in this game with the 1-1 of SOO. Zerglings are going to be able to find a very nice surround, forced to pick off, and you don't even lose that many lings. And that drop might actually loop its way around to the main base. I don't know if there's any Spore Crawlers there, but Zerglings and Banelings already going to be ready for that repositioning. As 2-2 on the way for Byun. Has the second factory as well, so once again, it's probably going to be heading into that triple Widowmine production with the 4th command center. Byun is just taking this into a completely standard macro game and says, listen, I think I can beat you when it comes down to this. As SOO is bringing his forces all to the front. That means that the main is actually going to be open for this double drop to make his way, or make his way into this base. And I think SOO should actually commit a little bit more to defending. That's a spawning pull down. That's actually a really nice catch here for Byun. SOO is going to have to rebuild that. Nice snipes. Oh, great snipes on the Banelings. And it's just going to get on out. So that means that SOO now has to rebuild that, but already had the Hydra Den. So is going to be able to produce Hydras now. 12 of them on the way. I think it's a bit heavier than perhaps SOO wanted, but it was already a plan for him on this transition. As a +1/+1 will finish up. So now even upgrades here for the Ling Bane is where SOO is going to be happy with until that 2-2 finishes for Byun. That double drop still sharking around the right side of this map. Is going to be able to clean up creep once again. Scans are ready. The 4th command center not yet morphed into that orbital, and we're going to be going up to the 8 racks. So Byun getting ready for the late game. 8 barracks, 2 factories. This is absolutely where you want to be, as well as the +1 vehicle weapons for his tanks. And look at this, SOO just getting up to a 5th base. He's going to try and find an opening here. Thinks he might have been able to collapse onto the bio, but it's just a little bit too spread out. Yeah, I think SOO is going to knock down those rocks. Realizes that they're just a little bit pesky. Banelings rolling into Hellbats, not exactly what you want to see, and not enough lings here to really body block for the Banes, so SOO not quite going to be able to take that fight as he would like. You see that double drop up towards the top side of the map is not quite going to be able to get into the main. You have a queen there. Is it going to be able to snipe the low health one? Oh, not quite. Going to be able to sneak its way in. Lings will be brought over to respawn, and the medevac will eventually get sniped. And actually, yeah, should just be the singular queen going down. SOO is going to be able to finally clean up that drop, but it's more Banelings on the way here, or more bases, sorry, on the way here for SOO. or for Byun and SOO. Both these players actually expanding. Byun getting up additional command centers, Ghost Academy as well. Is going to be preparing to head into late game TVZ. Tanks in production. Ghosts will be there eventually against the Hydras, of course. You're usually not going to head into the Liberators until later in the game when it's going to be a higher lurker count. There's a good amount of queens have been run over there, or have been brought over to deal with the medevacs. Yeah, now we're getting the hatcheries placed down, though, for SOO. I think that's his second macro hatch that is now being placed down. These medevacs going to try and find their way into the main, but you're between a Spore and some queens. That's not a situation that you want to be in. Transfuses will go down. There's no... Is there +1 ranged? Yeah, there's no +1 range just yet, so these queens actually don't do a lot of damage. The lings have to be brought in to additionally clean up. And look at this creep spread from SOO. He actually has all of his creep almost to the halfway point of the map, and that's very, very nice for the Zerg. It means that the Terran is going to have a very hard time pushing, even at the bottom side here. That creep is actually going to start to impede on the bases of Byun. As Hive is on the way, Burrow as well, and finally we're going to get that +1 ranged weaponry. So the Zerg units are going to just do a lot better with these fights, as this is going to be a dangerous position to go into. I think the 4 tanks, you know, very, very moderately step back, are going to push SOO away. Has to then deal with this drop, loses a queen, is going to be able to clean up most everything else. As 2-2 is on the way for SOO. But Byun has the 3-3 on the way. But look at this tank spread. How many tanks are we at? We're sitting at 11 tanks already with 6 ghosts. That is quite an insane number. SOO has to be careful here, but he does have a massive bank. So even if you commit in here and you lose a lot, mind you, with a 4,000 mineral bank, you're really not that worried, as we're going to see a lot of those supply depots go down. SOO realizes, though, he can't commit on into that attack. There are just too many tanks in that position. His Baneling's going to roll on into this planetary fortress, and actually they just, ooh, 2 tanks not quite going to be able to roll in to snipe that base. And SOO is at 91 workers. Byun is at 85, but mind you, right now the base is 4, the Zerg is 6. You're at a massive economy. Spire's on the way, so we might even be heading into Broodlords here for SOO. And I mean, would you have it on any other way, ladies and gentlemen? We get a late game TVZ potentially here in what could be the final game if SOO is able to get the 3-0, but it's also Byun trying to find the comeback, trying to find the start to his reverse sweep. And there are no ghosts out. There's going to be +3/+3. +2 for the vehicles as well. As, ooh, look at this. SOO committing on in. Is going to be able to force another lift off here on the command center. A lot of the tanks are going to go down. And SOO has finally found that opening. We're going to look for that worker line. Gets a ton of SCVs. 16 are going to end up falling. And SOO just backs on up. Doesn't even really lose a lot of the Hydralisks. And those are the really cost-intensive units for this army. Adrenal Glands, +3 Carapace. The +2/+2 for the Zerglings is now done, or the Zerglings and Banelings is now done for SOO. But still going to be sitting with the Terran on an upgrade advantage. Another drop gets cleaned up, and SOO has really set up a great perimeter here with the Spore Crawlers just to make sure that Byun can no longer drop him, and that really limits what the Terran is able to do. It pushes Byun back into his bases. It says it pretty much tells the Terran that they have to defend. As the Vipers are on the way, that orbital I think is just gonna get sniped by the Hydras. That's gonna be a base going down that Byun really desperately needs. A 5th base for the Terran right now is what allows them to swing this game into their favor. Sure, you can do a lot in 4 bases, but you need a 5th. And we're already starting to see this creep spread is just, coming in and impeding on Byun's position. The 5th to the left of his 3rd here is not able to be taken. That is not allowed to be taken. And Byun and SOO is actually expanding to both the corner, the left and right corner bases. So Byun, his options for what bases he's going to be able to take are very, very small. It's very limited. As Greater Spire is on the way. SOO still sitting at 89 workers, now going to be going up to a massive 8 base economy. And of course, I would like to see SOO, I think, get a little bit more gas mining here. He is sitting with a very low gas bank, and when you're planning to do a Broodlord transition, that can honestly kill you as the Zerg. If you make the transition, but then you don't have enough gases. Oh my god, SOO! He's gonna look for the double-pronged attack. Baneling's rolling in from both sides. Byun just has to pull back into his tank line. His blinding clouds go down, but a lot of Banelings are falling! SOO is finally going to find some decent connections, but he loses so much in that fight. Byun is going to be able to push back the Zerg, but he loses 20 SCVs. And, I mean, SOO has a Remax, and look at that. Burrowed Banelings as well. SOO is just playing so handsomely right now. so handsome. More Hydras in production. Now, there is no Lurker Den, which is interesting because, again, oh, so close. SOO had him selected, too. He was ready. He was ready. Oh, my God. Byun is so close. These Banelings are just a little bit precariously placed. +2 missile weapons coming through, +3 melee attacks as well, and SOO is not yet getting into that Broodlord transition. He is actually waiting to build up a bigger bank before he actually opts for it, and again is going to be able to get a liftoff on this 5th base from Byun, who's right now desperately needing it. Look at the bank for Byun. It's running out. He's not even maxed out, and he doesn't have enough minerals to keep up this production. Liberators have now been added in as it's getting later into the game, which of course is very nice, as they will stop the Hydras from pushing in as quickly. But this economy for the Zerg is going to start to get out of hand. Again, this is a map, mind you, that has 6 bases per side, with 2 bases in each diagonal. So you're sitting at a 14 base map, and SOO right now has 8 of them. Look at this. I mean, he's committing on it with the Banelings, and there's just nowhere to run for Byun. He's going to hide behind the mineral badges, but the tanks are going to go down. A lot of the bio is going to fall, and once again, SOO retreats with the Hydras, the expensive unit in this army. He's going to rebuild 104 Zerglings because he has so many hatcheries. 9 hatcheries. He is taking up right now 75% of this map. Maybe 65% of this map. It is insane, and the reason why he's allowed to do this is SOO is sticking on Lingbane Hydra. He's sticking on this very mobile composition that's able to collapse into these armies and find damage. But look at this, Byun, he's muling the 5th. He's going to try and find as many minerals as possible, but he needs to defend this location, and I just don't think there's enough. I mean, he has so many ghosts, but the ghosts really aren't useful against Zerglings and Banelings. Byun, I mean, SOO has never transitioned. He stayed on Lingbane Hydra. He never got off of it, and Byun was ready for that Lurker transition. He was ready for Lurkers. He was ready for anything, and SOO never gave it to him. I mean, Byun finally takes a good fight there. But SOO's bank is still so strong, and honestly, at this point, we might start to see those Broodlords come in, as it's the remax or the rebuild for Byun is just tanks and liberators. SOO's still not heading towards that. It's just going to stick on this composition for as long as it is being effective. +3 missile attacks on the way, and pretty soon SOO will be completely caught up in upgrades. His Zergling Bane is already caught up in upgrades to that of Byun, and now it's just going to be the Hydras to follow. Because once again, SOO gonna look for this. This time it's only from one angle though, and you gotta be careful when engaging from just a singular angle. Great EMPs there onto the Vipers as Byun is just pulling everything back. He's gonna find some great fight there onto the Banelings. Does lose a lot of the tanks though, and again, that's why Byun is rebuilding them. But now he's down to 117 supply to the 193 of SOO, who again has just never transitioned. He said, I don't need to. Mules are going to be hammered down onto this base once again as Byun is desperately holding on for his life. 90 workers versus 38, but the army supply is even. And that is the only thing that Byun right now has going for him. This drop is going to try and make its way towards that top right corner, and that would be a nice move here for Byun if he's able to find damage. As SOO once again is going to force the lift off. The mules aren't able to get their full length of mining through. Actually, SOO not committing in just yet. The tank line is once again reset, and the Vipers actually aren't here as, oh, I love this from SOO. Actually has spine crawlers in position to stop that chance of a drop from happening. As here we go, SOO committing in, but you have no blinding clouds, so you have to be careful about fighting into this tank line as Byun just retreats into it, is gonna try and split, but he's just losing so much. And SOO is also dropping in supply, but SOO has a bank, SOO has a remax, And SOO is doubling the supply of his opponent. He can remax on Zerglings and Banelings, and Byun is devastated. It's the 3-0. SOO is back, baby. And I am excited for Thursday. Oh my, that was some clean Zerg play.